And for me, 3 weeks ago on that first drive to work, that was my feeling of normalcy, doing the things that I used to do, going to work, being able to get up and feel good physically and mentally. And so for me, that was awesome, a feeling and experience. Several months I'm not working, and I told them, and people think I'm crazy. People think I'm not telling the truth. And then I began seeing this guy named Carlos, who's an injury healer. And then within 3 weeks, I took the patch off my glasses. Within 2 weeks after that, I was back at work. Late January, I began having these symptoms, primarily with my eye, where I got double vision. My right eye was turned inwards and was pretty much crossing, so I saw double. And so I began seeing doctors. I saw many different doctors. And they went through a series of different tests and labs. I had a brain MRI, a spinal MRI, even a spinal tap. And everything that would come back, they would tell me that I'm perfectly healthy and they can't quite figure out what was causing my body to react this way. And so in the interim, they told me to put a patch over my eye so that I can see out of one eye straight. They would continue to try to figure it out. I would go continue seeing doctors, and then the same story. They couldn't quite figure out what was wrong with me. So I was searching to try to find anything to get back to what I felt was like my normal self physically. This was late January and months go by, so early April I began seeing Carlos. For me, I was searching maybe to just be at peace with what my physical condition was at the time. Not like some magic thing that was gonna happen to me where voila, I was gonna instantly be better. And so I began seeing Carlos, and what happened was over time, mentally, I began appreciating all the good that was in my life, becoming more at peace with the condition that I currently was in. And then one time, Carlos had this conversation with me about letting go. And he told me about this book actually called Letting Go as well. And in the book, it talks about a guy who wore glasses for some time. And at a certain point, he just took off the glasses and his vision improved. And so I took away from that, and then I came back, and then the patch that I had been wearing for months, I just stopped wearing. That was my way of letting go and being at peace with the condition, with the physical condition or state that I was in. I just let go. And then mentally, I was more at peace with how I was. I was letting go of any negative energy during this time. Carlos and I did many exercises with forgiveness, being okay with certain things that may have happened in the past, focusing and being aware of all the good things that were happening in my life. And so much of that was improving mentally more than physically initially, and I think the body just followed once the mind was in a good state.
What did you feel during the energy healing sessions?
Changed over time. So initially when I first began doing the energy healing sessions, it was almost as if I was having to mesh my mind and body. It was a sense of awareness physically from head to toe. It was almost as if I was purging, for even a better word, cleansing any negative energy that was within. A lot of times, and at least in the early going, in my gut, you just would feel like a cleansing and a release and purging any negative energy that you may have had built up or stored, or any type of resentment or negative feelings, and just learning to let it go, right? And then over time, and I would tell Carlos this, because at the conclusion of each of these healings, we talk about how we feel, right? And over time, towards the end, it got to the point where I would feel less negative energy and more of a calm and more at peace. And then when I would lay there and be aware of how my body feels, and you're gonna learn to just awareness, how do you feel, right? And I would lay there and I would notice how I felt when I first began coming. and how it felt towards the end, it was just more at peace, more of a feeling of calm, right? And even before my eye totally got better, mentally, I was at peace and at calm. And then the last time I seen Carlos, I was super excited because I was happy to tell him, hey, I had been seeing doctors for months and nothing really worked for me. I really feel like me changing my mental state and positive energy and just being in a good place spiritually really helped me get back to where I was initially, where I want to be physically. And so I'm super, super excited to be healthy again.
You told me that you had to stop working for a while?
Yes, I was out of work for almost 3 months. Thankfully, I was able to return to work 3 weeks ago. Super, super excited to be back. And for me, it was just a feeling of normalcy again. I remember having so many tough nights physically where I would just lay in bed, patch over my eye, headaches, nausea, all these things I were going through physically, and I would just lay in bed and just think to myself, I just want to feel normal again. I just want to go back to how I felt several months ago. And I would lay in the bed, and for me, 3 weeks ago on that first drive to work, that was my feeling of normalcy, doing the things that I used to do, going to work, being able to get up and feel good physically and mentally. And so for me, that was awesome, a feeling and experience.
You told me you were telling your coworkers. What did they say?
So I would tell my of course, when I got back, they asked me about how I felt and what I went through. And I would try to explain to them that I saw many doctors and they weren't able to, because everybody wants to know what was wrong, what was your diagnosis, and what were the doctors able to determine. And I would explain to them that every doctor that I went to wasn't able to identify anything that they could medically declare wrong with me. When I would try to explain that I began seeing Carlos, I had to explain it to them in a sense that it's not like he's magic. It's not like it's abracadabra. It's more of a learning to accept positive energy and learning to remove any negative that you may have been harboring or storing, and more of a being one with your mind and your body and being aware. Is more of learning to that fusion more than anything.
And through a self-healing process that I taught him, I walked him through, he started his healing journey. I realized that an energy healer is more like a coach who guides you in your healing journey. Sometimes things happen very quickly in a few sessions. However, I always give self-healing tool to my clients.
Anything else you would like to say? Besides thank you to your girlfriend.
I just want to say that if there's anybody out there who has had any trouble, whether in any phases of their life, whether it be love life, physically you don't quite feel right, emotionally, whatever it may be, I think if you've tried everything, if you feel like that you have no other alternative, and you just always have been skeptical or pessimistic about energy healing, because I too was pessimistic when I first heard about it. For me, it was, I've tried everything else, why not? I think you should try it. I just didn't feel like this would be able to help. And so I say to people, despite being any skepticism that you may have, if you feel like you can improve physically, mentally, emotionally, whatever it may be, I feel like it's something you should definitely try.
Last Sunday, a week ago, you told me, well, I have to go to church.
Yes.
Do you feel that your spiritual life helped you to go through?
Absolutely. And so there's so much of me being able to get through this was grounded in faith, right? And being able to know and feel and be confident and assured that no matter what I'm going through now, I'm going to be okay later. And just having that belief, even when I felt awful and horrible, just knowing that no matter what I'm going through now, I know I'm going to be okay later. And just that connection and my faith that really got me through this.
Thank you so much, Henry.